Okay, so I decided to plan my lesson for 2nd grade, and I made Oobleck. You would have the students mix their own Oobleck in groups, but I just decided to mix it now because it was fun. So the first thing that I would do with students to get them engaged in the lesson is just introduce Oobleck. Bring them back for a group discussion, and generally just say, we're going to make Oobleck today. Let's make some predictions about it. We can talk about what we think it's going to feel like, what's it going to smell like, and if it'll be like a solid or a liquid. Because that's really the standard that I would work with, is states of matter and solid versus liquid. So once we have some predictions put together, I'll let the students go back to their groups, and I'll have the cornstarch and water measured out for them, and then they'll just have to mix it. And while they're exploring, you can just ask them some general engaging questions that encourage them to explore a little further and make more observations. So while they're exploring, you could ask them, like, what happens when you try to hold it in your hand? And if you pick up Oobleck and then hold it in your hand, it just melts right out, which would be a fun, like a weird thing for them to explore. You could ask them what happens when you stir it with a spoon. And now that I'm covered in Oobleck, I can't really stir it with a spoon too well. But it's just, yeah, that's not going to work. But it's just a question that you can ask to help students make observations about the Oobleck and the consistency of it and about its state of matter. So once they've had a good amount of time to explore and think about the predictions you made to begin with, I would bring them back to the carpet and kind of elaborate on what they just found. We would talk about what predictions were right and what predictions were wrong. And the state of matter is, Oobleck is actually a liquid. It's a special kind of liquid called a Non-Newtonian liquid. So when it's standing by itself, it's a liquid, but anytime you touch it or try to move it, it takes on properties of a solid. So that would be one way to elaborate the lesson. Another way is to let them see how other objects interact with Oobleck. Like teeny tiny dinosaurs are fun. You can like set them in it, and they sink, but you know, they might think that they're gonna sit on top of the Oobleck, but they don't, they sink. But that's another way to elaborate on the lesson. Oh, I lost it. So to evaluate the students' understanding of Oobleck, I would have them write in a journal about what they found about this different type of liquid that they learned about. It would be new, and it would be a way for me to look at how they grasp the concept of the lesson and of matter and properties of matter. So I'm going to go find that dinosaur.